when it was apparent that the schools were not going to be opening for some time this fall, we began thinking of ways that we could help create a school culture, climate, community across the distance learning landscape. So we approached Principal Dawson with the idea of a community read. And it was a very last minute thing. So we had to look for something that was going to be basically free. So it just so happens that the Loudoun County Public Library chose Front Desk for their One Book, One Community. And it just so happens that that is perfect for middle school. So we took advantage of the copies that the public library was able to give to us. There were enough for teachers to have copies. And we approached Principal Dawson about the idea. We knew that, that she had already purchased the Positivity Project in response to the county's need for social emotional learning and advisory. And we didn't want her to feel that she had wasted her money on that. So we were able to show her that by reading the book, we would also be able to review and have students interact with and apply the knowledge that they learned earlier in the year with a Positivity Project in the actual book, the discussion of the book.
So our plan was to take the book Front Desk, which, in case you don't know what Front Desk is about, it's about a 12-year-old, 11-year-old girl named Mia who is just starting school for the first time in a new school in California. She's moved from China, and her parents get a job working at a motel where they think they're going to have a really great experience. And it turns out that there's a lot more hardship than they anticipated. So there were some really good conversations that we could have with our students with this book. And I think we were able to do that by reading 1 to 2 chapters a day with the students during our advisory time. So we started in March and continued towards the end of May. And either us, the librarians, read 1 to 2 chapters that we had pre-recorded for the teachers, or the teachers themselves got books and read to their students, which is always fun. And then after reading, the students would interact with the text. So we would provide questions that were both based on the Positivity Project traits, or comprehension questions and questions about how they felt about the story that they were reading. And we got a lot of feedback from the teachers saying that some of their more quiet Den Time students, or their students that they had been struggling to have conversations with, were now able to open up and talk about some of these projects because they had the shared experience of the book to speak about. So we had a lot of really good reactions with this plan. And we were also able to add some current events in as they happened, unfortunately, during our time that we were reading our book, particularly with the violence to Asian Americans in the past. So it was a really great conversation. Some of the other teachers said that they were starting to read the book with their own children because they liked it so much, that their own Den Time students opened up and started having better, more in-depth conversations while they were reading the book. We got a lot of messages from teachers saying that the conversations they were having were very meaningful, that they felt like this was a really good way to spend their Den Time, their advisory, and that the kids were really liking the book. So we were really happy to hear. But we're definitely going to try to do it again. We are planning our next read aloud, although next year will look a little bit different, and we're not quite sure how it's going to work yet. We are working and planning on our next book and our next One Book, One Community project. So anything else, Melissa?
No, just that we were a little anxious about whether or not that we would get positive feedback from the teachers, especially knowing that we love reading, but maybe not everyone loves reading as much as we do. But felt like the way that we were able to attack it was something that was manageable by other teachers, and they actually welcomed the change. So that was good.
Yep. Well, I guess, what do we do now? Goodbye. Thank you. Bravo. Bravissima. Okay. Okay. I'll just end it there.
Okay.
All right. Let me stop. Stop recording. Stop recording.